This right here is me, and there is nothing I love more than human-powered adventures. If it's human-powered, I am all for it. And that leads me to today. I am at John O'Groats in Scotland. Why, you might ask? Well, 950 miles away from this sign is Land's End. This is the furthest distance between 2 points on the UK map. And I am going to attempt to complete this journey on a kick scooter. No battery, no help, just one push at a time until I've made it to Land's End, 950 miles away.
Well, here we go then. Day one of scooting the entire length of the UK. Starting off in a headwind. I have no idea what to expect from this trip. I have no idea how many miles I'm going to be able to do each day. The weather's not looking great for at least for the first week, but we'll just deal with all that as it comes and keep pushing our way. Now from John O'Groats I am heading towards the flow country for some lovely gravel, but do got to do about 30 or so miles until I get there, and it's mostly uphill and I've got a headwind which I'm sort of like a sail is a little bit harder. Now, as always with these trips, I don't really train for them. I like to experience it as a whole new thing, and scootering is a whole new thing. I've got to get better at scooting with both legs, and by the end of this trip I wonder how good I will be with my left foot pushing. Have a bit of pushing experience from longboarding, but only on one leg. It is a bit easier to do two legs on a scooter, but it does feel unnatural. Right, uphill, and got a little bit of a descent coming up, which is nice because descending on this thing is fun. But just hoping to get at least over to the flow country. Let's go.
Up until this point, I'd ridden this scooter a whopping 3 times, twice before I left for this trip, no more than 5 miles at most, and then yesterday as I scooted my way from Thurso to John O'Groats. And let me tell you, when I arrived at John O'Groats yesterday, I thought to myself, this is going to be one long adventure. So starting out uphill and into the wind was not exactly filling me with much confidence. But I just have to keep pushing into the long Scottish roads. There was no turning back now.
I've just hit the 20-mile mark, just over 20 miles. I can tell you what now, definitely feel it in my legs. I am sort of still gradually climbing and into a headwind, so there is that. I think the real mind over matter thing is, my perspective is normally on a bike. I'm like riding along on this road. If I was on a bike I'd be going like 15 to 20 miles an hour, but on a scooter I'm going about 8. So I think after a few days hopefully my perspective will change a bit of what is fast, what is slow on a scooter, because right now everything obviously just feels quite slow unless I'm going really downhill. But yeah, 20 miles done, about another 10 or so until I get off-road into the flow country. Just looking forward to getting there and getting off-road, having some fun off-road. I have no idea how many miles I'm going to plan to do today, because once I do get through the flow country, there is quite a nice longish pushy descent, so we'll see. But yeah, 20 miles done. Legs are okay, but starting to feel it.
With my first 30 miles covered ever on this scooter, I could certainly feel it in my calves. Scootering across the country wasn't only going to be a challenge, it was going to take some time for the body to adapt. But that's what I love about throwing myself into the unknown, seeing just how the body does indeed adapt. And the one thing I was noticing at first, scootering is thirsty work.
Windy, so windy.
With the wind making my first day even harder, I started to head into the remote expanse of the flow country, the largest expanse of blanket bog in Europe. In between that bog though, endless gravel and endless fun.
It's like being at home. Back on the gravel, this time no pedals, just pushing along. It's so nice. So I've done 35 miles, it's coming up to 1 PM. Days are getting shorter now, so gets dark around like, I think 6, 7 o'clock, something like that. Got to try and make sure I'm always in a place to camp. I don't really want to ride at night. I can, I've got lights and stuff, but if I can avoid it, then I won't. But I think I should be able to get through all of this gravel. And I've got a slight little incline, and I've got a nice, long, gradual downhill, and then one big climb towards the A9. But I'm trying to avoid the A9 as much as possible this time, because obviously I'm a bit slower. I can't be bothered to deal with drivers, so that's why I'm going over a big hill. But it's great fun, good temperature as well, it's not hot, and it's in the middle of absolutely nowhere. I love it, so good.
When I had this idea to scoot my way across the entire length of the UK, I'd imagined this moment. This moment of scootering across the flow country's endless gravel. On a bike, this place feels big. On a scooter, it feels like something else entirely. The flow country feels endless. Every single push feels tiny in comparison.
I think I've done about 50 miles, or just under 50 miles. So it's good going. Pretty happy with that. Get to the 50 mark at least. I'm going to do a few more though, so maybe 60. I think 60 for sure actually. There's a few drizzly bits of rain in the air at the moment. I've got a slight bit of a climb, but then it's nice and downhill for a good few miles, so I'll be able to get some easy miles in, and hopefully stay dry, because I've only got like a few hours until the sun sets. I'm just gonna ride until I'm doing that climb. Hopefully I can get up and over, because I'm pretty sure there's some good camp spots up on top of that hill. But for now, pork pies. Not gonna stop for too long. Not stopping for long. I just looked at the weather, and the big rain cloud is coming my way, and it's going to be all night, so I'm going to try and find somewhere to camp if I can as soon as possible. Try and get dry, try and get into camp dry. Should have stopped up where I was, but it's drizzling now. If I can get up this climb and start making a descent, I should hopefully be able to find somewhere, even if it's not where I was planning.
A few moments later.
I was never going to outrun that, was I? Well and truly on top of me now. Oh well. Just keep going. I've even put the waterproof trousers on.
With the rain catching me, after what was shaping up to be a nice end to a first day on the scooter, I would now find myself looking for somewhere to shelter. The problem? Well, everywhere around me was pretty much still bog, and with the rain getting heavier and heavier, the size of the raindrops golf ball sized, I'd have to keep pushing, quite literally. I must have looked completely out of place scootering through here, because I was offered a lift to the next town, but that was never an option. I was determined to push my way the whole 950 miles.
Oh my god. Alright, I've done 60. Try and get you so you can see me. Right. So I've done 60 miles. I'm pretty happy with that. It's about 6 PM. Now, yeah, it's not stopped raining since it started, and it's looking like it's not going to stop all night. I just randomly saw this little hut. I thought, what's the chances it's just going to be locked? It'll just be, I don't know what it'll be. It's not like a bovvy or anything, but it was bound to be locked. So I come up to it, and I see a padlock on it. I'm like, so I start to turn back, but then I just have this thing. Let me just look closer to that padlock. And it wasn't actually locked. And that brings me into this little hut. Sort of drying everything over there. You probably can't see, it's all dark. I think it's like, for like the fishermen. A little thing up there saying, I don't know, rod fishers. So I guess it's like a little shelter for fishermen. So hopefully no fishermen out there today. Can't see any, haven't seen any, so hopefully they're not going to come, because I am going to hide in here. I'm probably like, God, I'm so tired. I'm probably like 15 miles away from Helmsdale. Now I'm not actually going to Helmsdale on this trip, but it's kind of down the road. I'm going to cut across, but yeah, I think I'm going to just stop while there's shelter. And yeah, 60 miles. Pretty happy with that, to be honest. Didn't know what to expect, and I don't know what to expect. I don't know if I'll be doing 60 miles every day. I don't know if it'll be some more, some less. I think as the days go on, I'll sort of get into the routine of, all right, it's going to probably be 50 miles, it's going to be 60 miles, I don't know. But yeah, this weather, yeah, that was tough. It's not too bad when you get to go downhill. But even the ones that, it's only the ones that are really downhill that you really speed up, otherwise you still got to keep pushing. Yeah, 60 miles, day one done. See you in the morning. Hopefully I can get a bit of sleep in here. There's not much to lay on, but it'll do. It's better than finding a camp spot out in that rain. See you in the morning. Wow, good morning. Good morning. Do you know what? I'm so happy that I found that little shed there last night, because camping out in that last night would have been pretty horrific. The rain didn't stop until probably about an hour ago. It's currently 7. It started at like 3 p.m. yesterday and it's only just stopped. Not only was the rain just pretty heavy, the wind got up to some crazy speeds as well, because even in that shed I could feel it shaking. But it's day 2, my legs feel like they've done 60 miles on a scooter, and I'm heading over towards like the A9 at the moment, but I've got a little bit more of this nice sort of gradually downhill road, then we've got the big climb, and then a nice long descent down to the A9, and then hopefully you'll be able to stock up on some food, have some breakfast and stuff, and hopefully stay dry. I mean, there's some very dark, gloomy clouds in the sky at the moment, but as of now it's not raining and there doesn't seem to be any wind. So let's see what day 2 has in store for us, scootering across the UK. This is day 2. Let it commence.
Day 2, and after my first real taste of scootering 60 miles yesterday, it was nice to be starting in the dry. My legs felt, wow, like they'd scooted 60 miles. A little tight, a little tired. But that was something I'd need to get used to, and fast, because over 900 miles still stood in my way. And today, I would need to make my way up and over quite a big climb. But with the sun making its appearance, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. The sun took my mind off the climbing, and I just got lost in my surroundings. It was a beautiful morning.
I think a little bit of hiker scooter is in order. I'm so glad I'm doing this in this weather and not how it was yesterday evening. Look at it out here, it's absolutely stunning. Sun blinding me. Clouds are kind of going that way, the ones we don't want to see. And over there where I'm going, blue skies kind of. Just gotta get to the top of this climb, and then the descent from here is really nice, because it is like a road, but it's a very quiet road. Should be able to get some good speed. Look at it, it's stunning.
Getting to the top of this climb required some pushing, and pushing. But this morning just kept getting more and more beautiful, and I could see for miles upon miles. And reaching the top, I would get the views of the road I was about to descend. miles of downhill, all alone, and a chance to get some speed. And oh my, did this descent raise my heart rate. Nothing like going 30 miles an hour on a scooter.
I'm on A9 now. I've got a few miles, about 4 miles until I turn off of it, and then there should be a shop, so try and get some breakfast. Good old peaches for breakfast. Peaches in a tin. Some grapes. And some oat and raisin cookies. I will actually come through through Golspie pretty soon. So I'll probably stop there as well. Just a brief stop there. Quick breakfast. I can't really eat much, don't really feel hungry, but we're back on the A9 for about 6 miles to Golspie, and then that's pretty much the A9 done, or the busy part. The annoying thing is it's really bloody windy again, and it's a headwind, so it really slows you down. But just keep pushing on and we'll get there. And also it looks like today will be similar to yesterday, from about 2 p.m. and then it says rain, and then all through the night rain. So when I get to Golspie, I'll have a look where I'll sort of try and figure out roughly where I can camp early, so I have to figure it out when it's wet if I can. Right, Golspie. Next stop, Golspie. Tailwind. Shame we got to turn around. 6 miles to Golspie, 58 to Inverness.
Seeing the first sign for Inverness was a nice feeling. It felt like I was making progress, even if sometimes it felt like slow progress. And pushing this scooter along the A9 wasn't exactly the nicest place. But it did make me kick hard, and soon enough I'd arrive at Golspie.
Right, made it to Golspie. It wasn't too bad actually. Got here quite quick. And although I don't really feel like I can eat that much at the moment, I'm going to force myself to, because I'm probably not going to get a chance to stop while it's dry for the remainder of the day. So if I don't eat now, I might end up being very hungry, very tired and miserable when it's raining. So I've got a bit of hot food, got some sausage and bean and cheese slice, we've got some meal deal pasta and some samosa and a smoothie shaky thing. Yeah, all good. So far today, not even midday, 25 miles done. Pretty happy with that. The hill we climbed this morning, coming down it, was raising my heart rate. It was a little bit scary, going over 30 miles an hour, stood up in that position, but it was fun. But yeah, now, at least from now, I get a nice cruise along the sea and then around Loch Fleet. It's a little bit quieter, and yeah, I got the sort of busy-ish A9 part out of the way now. Just hopefully I can miss the rain, would be nice. I don't know. So it's about 50-ish miles now into Inverness. So hopefully tomorrow we'll make it to Inverness. Let's have some food.
I love this little corner of Scotland, and after forcing some food down, I would start to make my way along the coastline and around Loch Fleet, enjoying some quiet trails through the forest, a welcome break from the busier A9. Today I was really starting to feel like I was getting into the swing of things, and today was just a great day of scootering.
Just like clockwork, it begins. 1:30 and the rain starts. I've broken this route up into 100-mile segments, apart from the last one obviously, which is about 50 miles. I'm just about to start the second one, so that means I've done about 100 miles and I've got about 850 to go. Done about just under 40 miles so far today, so I'll see what I can do. Definitely feeling much more comfortable today on the scooter, like pushing, switching feet, so that's good. Legs feel a bit tired, like in the calves, it really hits you in the calves scootering. But yeah, into the room we go. Happy days.
It was very much like deja vu, a carbon copy of yesterday evening. This time though, I needed to get quite a few more miles covered. Even if I wanted to, there wasn't going to be much choice for shelter, as I would be heading off-road and up into the forest tracks. The steep terrain meant there were times where I'd have to hike. Even when I could push, the wet ground made it increasingly hard to actually put any power down, as my shoes would just slide off the wet rocks. This was turning into a battle of willpower to keep moving forward. However slow I would be going, stopping just wasn't an option. Not out here, not with weather like this.
Right, another record set. You're just going to keep getting steamy. 64 miles today. Oh my god, what another day. Smashed it. But just gone past Elnes. How do you pronounce it? I'm so dead today. There was a slight break in the rain, which I'm not sure there'll be one tomorrow, because apparently a storm Amy or something is on its way. Of course, wouldn't be a Keysman adventure without a named storm. But yeah, 64 miles today. I've just managed to get the tent set up. As you can hear, it's hammering it down. Everything's all damp and minging. but I'm warm, I'm dry-ish, and I'm going to enjoy a good night's sleep. Hopefully we'll get some dry days on this trip, but let's take it day by day. It's like 124 miles total so far today. Tomorrow we'll get towards Inverness, and we got some climbing to do as we head over to the Cairngorms. Let's hope the weather gets better before I go through the Cairngorms, because last time I went through the Cairngorms there was a named storm too, so there's always a sea bright and early in the morning. Whew. Day 2, good one. Good night.
This storm on the way, Storm Amy, our first named storm of the season.
Storm Amy, and that is expected to hit the British Isles as we head through Friday into Saturday, and it is expected to pack a punch.
Good morning, good morning. Joining me on day 3 in Storm Amy, apparently. Managed to shelter quite nicely, and amazingly I woke up with a dry tent as well, because it's been so windy. The rain's kind of just been going over me, and the wind's been kind of hitting me a little bit, and my tent was nice and dry, which is really cool when you wake up in a storm with a dry tent. That's a win. It's looking like it's going to be a very tough day though. By the looks of it, it's going to be a headwind, and the wind is brutal. When I got into the camp last night, it wasn't actually windy, it was just rainy, so I was like, right, quickly get the tent up so I can get dry. It'd been a little bit dry for about 30 minutes, so I started to dry off, so I was like, yeah, get in the tent. And then as soon as I got in the tent, talk to you guys, put the camera down, the wind just started battering the tent, so I had to quickly get out and just make sure it was all completely staked out really good. And I was getting battered directly from the wind for about an hour. I was just sort of like, hold on, but the tent stood up, everything was fine, and then eventually it was still coming at me, but it was kind of going over, so that was good. Yeah, yesterday did 64 miles. I'm currently on my way towards Dingwall, forgotten the name of it already, and then across to Inverness. Now today I was really hoping that I would be able to get across to the Cairngorms. But this is going to be one of these days where I'm just gonna, it might just be like, do 10 miles and just find somewhere for shelter. I might be able to do more. It's really going to depend on that wind. If the wind's pushing me, I think the Cairngorms is definitely on the cards, but by the looks of it, at least for the first bit, as I go that way, it's going to be a headwind. And a headwind pushing a scooter, it's brutal. But day 3. Let's go see what it's not raining currently, or it's at least not in this little woods that I'm in, but I'm sure it will rain very soon. By the looks of it over there, it's already raining, and it looks like it's going to rain for most of the day, all the way towards the Cairngorms. See what today has in store for us. Let's go. Day 3, let's go.
Leaving my tent this morning was a bit eerie. I had heard Storm Amy all through the night. The wind howling through the trees, branches cracking and crashing down around me. And this morning, in this slight gap from the storm, this calmness, I could see the aftermath. Fallen trees, debris scattered everywhere from the night before. In the opposite direction, it looked calm, almost peaceful. But where I was going, it was looking anything but. Dark clouds were rolling in, the wind was picking up again, and I knew I was heading straight into whatever Storm Amy had left for me.
Wow, we're not going to be setting any records today. I've done about 5 miles, and that's all I'm going to do. I was going to push on to Inverness, but it is grim out here, and the hotels in Inverness are really expensive, so I'm getting a hotel here in Dingwall for tonight at least. Hopefully most of it will pass. I think it will still be raining tomorrow, but at least I can regroup, get everything dry, and have a shower, and then keep going again tomorrow. And hopefully most of the storm and the winds will have died down at least. But now I've got to wait around until 3 PM to check in. So I'm going to go find a little coffee shop or something and just warm up and hide away for hours. Just had some little breakfast. All that hard work to do 2 days of 60 miles to be left with 1 day of 5. Oh well, regroup and let's go find some coffee. Well, I managed to get a hotel, and shout out to the Waverley Inn in Dingwall, phone just fell, because it's 11:30 and they've allowed me to get in. Normally check-ins are like 3 PM, and I was just like sitting in Tesco cafe trying to warm up, and they said, yeah, come along. Told them what I was doing, they were like, yeah, come on in an hour. Nice. So now I've got a bit of a respite until tomorrow. Now I don't think the weather's going to be that great tomorrow, but I think the day after it's going to start getting a bit better, because tomorrow I'm going to attempt to get across to the Cairngorms. If I can do that, and then the next day I'll be going over the Cairngorms, which I don't really want to be doing when it's pissing down with rain. If you watched me bikepacking across the Cairngorms, you'll remember how brutal it can get out there. So if it's not raining at least then it could be a little bit more enjoyable. And I think as long as I can get there tomorrow, then the next day should be good. Now I get to chill out, have a shower, dry in all my stuff, and just chill for the rest of the day. Yesterday was a record-breaking day of 64 miles. Today, not so much. I've done about 5. The easiest day for sure of probably this whole trip. But yeah, hopefully the wind will die down a bit tomorrow. Sometimes you just have to do what you got to do. And yeah, that's 5 miles. I think I probably could have got to Inverness today, but yeah, hotels are really expensive over there. So I am just going to chill in this lovely little hotel room. It's actually not that little, it's quite big. And I'll see you bright and early in the morning. That was a very short day and a very miserable one. But it's nice to feel warm, feel my hands. And oh yeah, I'll probably have about 4 more showers before tomorrow. Hopefully we can at least start in the dry, but tomorrow, if we can get through tomorrow and get across to the Cairngorms, then after that, at least I've got potentially 1 dry day. It is uphill to the Cairngorms though. See you bright and early in the morning. Well, good morning. That feels nice and warm. I'm refreshed, and I think that was definitely the smart move, just to be able to chill out for a day, let that storm pass. And it was good timing, because today, I mean, there might be a couple little showers here or there, but it's mostly just going to be like the tail end of the storm. And when I turn left in a minute, I'm going to have a tailwind for most of the day, which is very helpful, because the day is not an easy one. It's about 50, 60 miles until where I want to get to in the Cairngorms, which is, you know, not impossible. We've done that a couple times on this trip so far. So that's the goal, is to get to the Cairngorms. The only problem is doing that is it is pretty much an uphill day the whole time. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but having that tailwind should hopefully make a big difference, because I haven't actually had a proper tailwind on this trip yet. So I'm grateful that it's coming today with all the hills. I've got about 13 miles or so until I get to Inverness, and it's up one little hill and one downhill. But let's keep moving. See you later, Cornwall. See you later. It was nice being here for a day.
It's never ideal having to stop so early into a challenge like this, but sometimes the choice is made for you and not by you. And on this occasion, it was the right call. I was getting ever closer to Inverness. The last of Storm Amy was behind me, and the sun was even making an appearance this morning. Feeling refreshed and ready for another day of scooting, it wouldn't be long until I would make it to Inverness, the UK's northernmost city.
Bridge now, and then around Inverness we'll start climbing up them hills towards the Cairngorms. I want to get past Aviemore today, that's kind of the plan, because I actually have a camp spot that I want to try and get to tonight. And if we can do that, that means then I can wake up nice and early tomorrow and we're going over the Cairngorms. So I need a full day for that. But look at the views! Beautiful.
Getting to the Keswick Bridge always feels like a big deal. It feels like entering a different part of the country. And I guess it is. Everything becomes a little more busy, a little more lived in. So I made my way around Inverness and up plenty of steep hills. I had some hard miles ahead of me today, with most of the day getting across to the Cairngorms being uphill. Every uphill mile on a scooter feels extra slow and extra hard work. And heading into the forest tracks, there were plenty of reminders of that storm, plenty of fallen trees and plenty of debris scattered on the forest floors to navigate.
Fallen trees, I did kind of predict this today. And it's only this little bit here. I think should be able to hopefully get past. Yeah, I reckon I can get round there and then back on. Hopefully. Ooh. I mean, there's only this little bit that sort of cuts through a forest track, so this should be the only bit that's in danger of fallen trees that could potentially stop me in my tracks. There we go.
Once I managed to get back on track, the day felt like it had shifted. Previous days I knew I would have to deal with incoming rain or storms, but today just felt fun. Hitting single track on a scooter is a learning curve. With a low footrest, it definitely keeps you on your toes. But it was hilariously fun, even if I really had no idea what I was doing. I just held on for dear life. Today I started to feel like I was getting into the swing of things. Just me, my scooter, and the gravel roads that run next to the A9. Not much to worry about, apart from trying to keep my feet dry from the occasional stream crossing, and as long as the aftermath of Storm Amy wouldn't cause me too much trouble, today all I had to do was keep pushing away and watch those miles slowly tick by. If I did that, my goal of getting to the Cairngorms tonight was in reach.
Right, just had a quick stop, a bite to eat, and continuing on to Aviemore. I've done about 30 miles. I think it's probably just under 20 miles to get to Aviemore. Got a little bit more climbing to go, and then it is pretty much downhill towards Aviemore. So that's nice, something to look forward to. And I was saying everything's perfect and tailwind and everything, but seems to have changed a bit. It's kind of on my side and sometimes in my face. So I don't know what happened there, but just keep scooting along and try and get to Aviemore in good time. I've got plenty of time, it's only 1 o'clock, so whew, making good progress. It feels like I'm making good progress, but them nights are drawing in. Shall we see if we can get a lorry too? Yeah!
Inverness felt a world away by now, but in reality it was only about 20 miles behind me. That last 20 miles, as fun as it was, definitely felt hard. So reaching the top of that long climb felt like a huge relief. The top of this long uphill battle meant two things. One, I had officially made it to the Cairngorms, and two, it was all downhill from here, and pretty much for the remainder of the day.
Very close to Aviemore now. Done over 40 miles, done like 45 I think it is. Probably got like maybe 3 or 4 miles till I get to Aviemore. Today is Sunday, so I'm kind of hoping the supermarket is open so I can get a few bits of supplies and stuff for tomorrow and tonight. I think there's a co-op there, they're normally open late even on a Sunday. But yeah, been a good day so far. And it's only 3 PM, so got quite a bit of time. But yeah, let's get into Aviemore and find some food and some supplies. Where I want to camp isn't really too far away from Aviemore. It's like maybe 5 miles, if that. So yeah, let's go find food. Well, day 4 has ended with 50 miles. Pretty happy with that. I mean, it's quite an early finish. It's only 5:15, and sunset isn't until about an hour and a half. So we've got a bit of time. But yeah, I didn't want to go any further because I got to the camp spot where I wanted to get to. And if you watch the Going Across the UK on the BMX, you'll probably recognise it, because this is why I know this spot, because I camped here on that. Body is feeling good, no issues Nothing to really complain about. Slightly sore on like the bottom of my feet, but there's no blisters or anything. I'll get a nice early night, make some nice sandwiches, and yeah, we go again tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be heading over the Cairngorms. I've got probably, again, quite a climby day, but once I get to the top, it is then like downhill for quite a while, or at least in a downhill kind of direction. But got the nice camp spot, got some nice sandwiches. Cheers. Day four was a good one because I needed that. I just needed one day where everything was kind of in my favour. The tailwind, the weather, not too hot, not too cold, it's not raining. It's just, yeah, I needed that. And again, knowing where I was going to camp and a good finish as well. So 50 odd miles done. How many more to go? Future Josh, put it here. Good morning, it's getting windy. Last night was such a great camp spot. I love this camp spot. It's just so peaceful. I mean, all night it was really calm, it was really quiet, really dark. I fell asleep at about 7 p.m. and didn't wake up until about 6 a.m. and yeah, so I've slept really well, and gonna need all of that rest because today I'm heading across the Cairngorms and we're going up to the highest point on this ride. It's not really that high, it's about 1,600 feet, but the first sort of 20-ish miles this morning will be a bit of a uphill battle, and there'll probably be a bit of hiker scooters and stuff. But then for the remainder of the day, we should have a mostly downhill sort of day towards like Pitlochry and stuff as we come out of like the Cairngorms and stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this morning. The last hour or so though, the wind has started picking up, so I'm hoping it's not going to be a headwind. Hopefully we can keep them cheat code activated tailwinds for today. But yeah, let's go and see what day 5 has in store for us from scootering across the UK. Oh, I really do love this camp spot. I could stay here for days. It's just so peaceful. I love it. It's so comfortable. Let's go. Morning.
There were some pretty strong gusts of wind this morning, but I seemed to mostly be sheltered as I left camp, and after a good day yesterday and a good long sleep, I was full of energy this morning, which was going to be needed. The Cairngorms is a beautiful place, but it can be hard work at the best of times. On a scooter, I would have my work cut out.
Getting towards the top now, nearly there, a few more miles, although I'm just about to get to the steeper section. Done about 14 miles this morning so far, so making good progress. But that gravel track out there looks pretty steep, so probably going to be a bit of a hiker scoot for the last little bit. But then it's all downhill. I mean, look at this place though. Look at it. What a place to be scootering around in. It's bloody beautiful. You can see that trail that I got to go up in a minute there. Keep pushing on, nearly at the top. Oh, happy days. I wasn't going up that big hill. The route sort of winded around it. Got like maybe 300 more feet to climb, and then it's downhill. Now look at it. So nice out here. All alone. A little bit of a headwind, but beautiful.
The higher I climbed, the slower my progress became. The higher I climbed, the more the wind tried to push me back. The higher I climbed, the more rugged everything got. The mountains either side of me were acting like a funnel, channeling the wind straight at me. Pushing a scooter out here felt completely out of place. I found myself wondering how many scooters, if any, had ever passed through here. Bikers, hikers, sure. A scooter? I'm not so sure. But that's what made it special. Such a unique way to experience the Cairngorms. One of Scotland's most wild and beautiful landscapes, one kick at a time. It was hard work, no doubt about it, but it was an experience like no other.
Final push up this climb. It's been a long one. 23 miles and into the headwind now, but should start descending fairly soon, and then should be able to have some easy-ish miles. Beautiful out here, although, well, I say it's beautiful out here, it's beautiful back there. I seem to be heading into the clouds, but I will keep pushing through, and I will only stop once I get out of the Cairngorms. Just looking forward to getting that downhill now. So close. Just got to do this last bit, hike a scooter around this lock, and then there's a really nice long descent back down to the road, and then we just keep going down, down, down. I've done so far this morning 24 miles, it's 12:30, that's all been uphill pretty much, and battling into some headwind as well right now. Bit of hiker scooter.
Just one final push until I would get my long-awaited descent today. After making my way around the narrow trail and one final river crossing, I would find myself back on the trail and finally on my way down, saying goodbye to the Cairngorms.
Hello trail, my old friend. Oh yeah! We got the tailwind, we got the downhills, oh do 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 do. Woo! What a crossing of the Cairngorms that was. Absolutely stunning, brutal, and everything you'd expect for scooting through the Cairngorms. And now, Gonna head towards Pitlochry and Dunkeld and Perth. Perth's 50 miles. Don't think we'll quite get there today, but it's nice and downhill for a little while, and we're back to the tailwind. Also, I've done 31 miles, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to enjoy this descent. When it finally stops, I'll probably stop and have something to eat. So good. Just came through Pitlochry, had a bite to eat. I'm a bit annoyed. I seem to have misplaced my spork and I brought a yoghurt. So now I'm just lugging a yoghurt around because, I mean, I guess I could just drink it, but try to act civilized around people a little bit. I've done 50 miles so far today. It's about 4:30. I would quite like to break the record today of the 64 miles. It would be nice to be able to do. I'm not sure if it's going to be possible. Basically, if I get to Dunkeld, that's matching the record, so then anything after that is beating the record. However, there is a couple little climbs I've got to go up. I don't know. I mean, it would be nice to hit that 70 mark, but does get dark in like an hour and a half, so probably not going to be able to do too much more. Get to the 60 mark at least, we can match what I've been doing most of the time. Gonna head towards Dunkeld now. Today has been another great day of scooting, and we are starting to get now to sort of more of the built up places. Going to be coming through obviously Dunkeld and then towards Perth, and then down towards the bridge to cross over near Edinburgh. Making progress, guys, making progress. Right, no record breaking tonight. Did like 4 miles and it started to rain. It's not gonna stop raining now for a few hours, so I don't want to get soaking wet before getting in the tent. So I've managed to jump in this little woodlands and find a great little spot for tonight. And disaster averted, I found my spork, so yogurt can finally be consumed and not just drank. Good little spot actually, nice and hidden, nice and sheltered from all the rain and the wind, and we'll go again tomorrow. 54 miles. I wonder if on this trip I can get to that 70 mile mark. I think my body feels fine to do it, just need a bit of luck with the with like a dry evening, that'd be nice. Right, tomorrow morning we're heading to Dunkeld, about 10 miles or so till there. A few little ups and downs and then nice and downhill. Hopefully it won't be too wet and should be nice. Another good day. Day 5 complete. As always, I'll see you bright and early in the morning. Oh, good morning, good morning. Day 6 today. We're nearly at a week. A week on the scooter already, nearly a week already. That was a good night's sleep. It only rained for a few hours, so It went quite quiet. Woken up with a nice dry tent. I've got about 10 miles to get to Dunkeld, and then I'll probably stop for breakfast because it's like the first day of this trip where I haven't had to do loads of miles. Well, it feels like loads of miles to get to like a shop or whatever. So I'm going to do these few miles and then probably stop for a little bit, have some breakfast, and then crack on. Today we are sort of starting to hit some more built up places, which definitely helps make it feel like we're making progress. In about 60 miles I could be hitting the bridge over by Edinburgh, so I might end up past Edinburgh today, but we'll see. First, Dunkeld for breakfast.
Setting off this morning, thinking I could well be down by the capital of Scotland by the end of the day, was sobering. It felt like real progress was being made, like I was actually getting somewhere. But I was trying not to get too far ahead of myself, to just take the journey as it comes, one push at a time. Arriving in Dunkeld early morning was perfect timing. It's a beautiful little place to sit down for breakfast, watching the River Tay flow through the town.
Rightio, that's breakfast done for today. I have got a slight bit of wear and tear, not to the scooter, but to myself. I've got the first blister of the trip. Not too bothered about it, it doesn't really hurt too much. Occasionally on some off-road trails when I push and like a stone hits that exact spot, that's a bit painful, but apart from that, not too worried. So yeah, 18 miles to Perth. I'm probably not going to stop until I get there, and that'll be about 30 miles for today. I think today should be quite plain sailing. It's probably one of the easier days. I'd say most of the terrain is kind of in my favour. There's not much off-road, if any. Not until at least like Loch Leven, probably. Now, the only issue I have today is if I do the 50-60 miles that I've been covering, I'm going to end up on the bridge over to Edinburgh. And that will mean I'll probably have to do another maybe 20 miles just to get out of all like the built up bits to find somewhere to sleep tonight. So I'm not entirely sure if I will push on that far or not. I think I'll just we'll see how it goes today. Who knows, it might be disastrous, who bloody knows. But yeah, let's go to Perth. Not quite a tailwind today either. I've just come through Perth. I've done about 27 miles today. It's currently 11:30. So I think today is going to be the day. I think today is the day I'm going to attempt to break that 64-mile record so far and try and beat that. But by doing that, it does mean I will be going over the bridge into Edinburgh. So it's not just going to be a little bit over, it's going to be probably 80 miles maybe. This might be a tough one. I might regret this in the morning, but I've got about 20-ish miles, a little bit less than 20 miles to get to Loch Leven, and then I think it's about 10-ish, maybe 10, 15 more miles until the bridge, and then however long it takes to get over the bridge and then into the distance away from all the built-up places to find somewhere to camp tonight. But quick stop here, nice view, and yeah, I think I might put a plaster on the blister, and today is the record-breaking day. Fingers crossed. Look away now if you're squeamish. Lovely. Oh, that's gonna need popping.
After over 260 miles and 6 days of scootering across the UK, it finally happened. I got my first blister. The thing I was probably most worried about had happened. And on the day where I needed it not to happen the most, I had a huge day ahead of me today. If I was ever going to make it past Edinburgh, not only physically but mentally, and now with a blister to manage today, was looking like it was going to be that ever so slightly more challenging. After sticking a plaster on though, all I could do was keep on moving, and I was moving better than ever. Getting into a good rhythm while pushing the scooter felt like the key. Of course, there were some steep hills that were just too steep to push up. Funnily enough, the hills too steep to scoot were the ones too steep to ride the BMX up. Scottish drizzle was in the air today, but I seemed to dodge most of it, and now I was on my way to the beautiful Loch Leven.
Ah, 42 miles done so far today, making good progress. It's currently quarter past 2, so yeah, making good progress. Just come around Loch Leven and look at it. It's sunny, the sun is shining. I don't feel like I've seen the sun on this trip yet, so welcome to see it. I think I've got probably around 15 miles until we start crossing that bridge. I can't wait. And when I get past the bridge and a little bit further, I would have hit the 300 mile mark.
Milestones. Getting through an adventure like this is all about setting yourself milestones. And this one was a big one. Getting to the 4th bridge today was not only a huge moment in terms of progress, but it also marked 300 miles. 300 miles out of 950, nearly a third of the way done. It hit me just how far I'd actually come. 6 days ago, I was at John O'Groats with barely any idea what I was doing on this scooter. And now here I was, passing Scotland's capital. I still had a few miles to go though if I was going to break my daily distance record. So a quick meal deal sat on the concrete was all I had time for.
Made it over the bridge, and now it's just time to break the record of 64 miles. I need to do 5 more. I'm on like 59, which I should definitely do, as I now got to get out of like the busyness, and I reckon I'm probably going to have to do at least 10 or 15 miles until I can potentially find somewhere just to get slightly out into the countryside again. But I've only got an hour and a half until the sun sets. It does seem 60 seems to be about the max before sunset, well, kind of. It's really hard going uphill one-footed while I'm talking to the camera. But today has been a good one, and it's looking like the weather is getting a little bit better now. But with only an hour and a half left, I do also need to try and find somewhere to sleep. And that is the problem, I have no idea around here. Right, just gonna keep going. Probably gonna end up going into the night a little bit tonight. Yeah, let's see what happens.
So close to beating my record, but daylight was fading fast. I needed to push and push hard to get out of the built-up area and find somewhere to camp. 2 goals left for me today: beat my record and find somewhere to sleep. I could see the miles ticking up on my GPS, getting closer and closer to that number. It was exciting, but the darkness was closing in just as fast. Could I pull off both? Or would I find the perfect pitch and have to call it early?
Well, good morning, day 7, 1 week. Today we set off from John O'Groats and waking up a little bit past Edinburgh, and amazingly around 90 miles to the border of England and Scotland. Now I'm waking up in a pretty good mood, to be honest, because I did break my record of how many miles I could do in a day on this scooter, and it was 75 yesterday. Although, to be honest, I felt like I could do more, but I finally found somewhere to camp in a little woods back there, so I thought I better take it. And I didn't ride into the night too much. It was probably about 7:30, 8 o'clock last night that I got there, so not too bad really. Today's goal is not to break the record. I don't think I'll do it again. I'll try and not hurt my body too much, although I have woken up feeling fairly refreshed. And the sunrise this morning over there is looking like it's gonna be a good one. The camp spot I had last night was a little lumpy, but it was quiet, and I don't think I'm going to get a quiet camp spot tonight, because as I head into today's route towards the border, I think I'm going to end up alongside the motorway. There's like an old road, very long road that just follows it all the way down to Gretna. So that's probably what's going to happen tonight. But this is day 7. That sky is absolutely beautiful, and let's go see what has in store for us. Body is feeling pretty good right now. Not hurting too much. The blister doesn't feel bad either. Right, day 7, let's go.
1 whole week, and it had gone fast. Waking up feeling surprisingly refreshed after such a big day on a scooter yesterday. By now, I was sure I was going to be hurting more, but no, I still felt great. Just like the sky this morning, it was beautiful. Heading into the wind farms this morning meant I had a quiet, if not slightly windy, start to the day, with long gravel roads all to myself. It would continue being a quiet morning as well, even when I arrived at Wilson Town, about 150 years or so too late if I wanted to experience the hustle and bustle of what was once a thriving iron community during the Industrial Revolution.
I've done 20 miles this morning. It's been a bit of a battle because of that headwind today, but I'm going to be following the River Clyde for a little bit longer, and in about 10 miles I'll be on that long endless road that takes me all the way to Gretna. So hopefully as I turn sort of left to go more south, that headwind won't be quite as bad. But being very open exposed land this morning, so just gonna stop off. Got some Thai sweet chili nut things. Also got some in my eye, so that's stinging. Taking it a little bit easier. Yesterday was a real big push to get that 75 miles, so today just gonna try and get the 50, but just nice and gradually and slowly. Got next 30 miles are pretty much uphill though, so. But then after that it's a nice long gradual downhill all the way to the border. Scooter is holding up beautifully, apart from some lovely paint coming off where my feet are always moving, especially on this like sandy, gravelly stuff. I've also got a very squished ginsters in it, but I'll probably save that for later.
After the next few miles, I was a little taken back. I'd never been through here before, following the River Clyde. There was something magical about scootering through here, with the wind blowing over the trees, the leaves starting to fall, the colours, the sounds of the waterfalls crashing. I wanted to get my miles in, but I just couldn't not stop and just savour this moment. I could have quite easily sat here all day, but if I was ever going to make it to the border, I needed to keep pushing forward, and it was time to get onto that long, endless road that follows the motorway. It's quiet enough in terms of traffic, but it certainly feels endless and slow. And there was now lots of misty, low clouds rolling my way.
Coming up to the 40-mile mark for the day, so slowly but surely making good progress. I don't really want to do too many more really, but I'll try and get to the 50 minimum. Today has definitely been the coldest day so far. It's not really that cold, but you can feel it, and I can scoot with a jacket on today. Previously I've not been able to do that. Probably got about 5, 6, 7 miles more of a gradual climb, and then it's a gradual descent towards Gretna. Now I don't think I'm going to get as far as Gretna today in the border, but I've got to think of where I'm going to camp. I did manage to find a little bivvy spot when I was BMXing across the UK. So I might be there if I can remember where it is, and if my tent will even fit, because it was quite a small spot. It's amazing how the body adapts to what I'm doing. I said at the start, you know, I could feel it in my calves, but now I can't feel nothing. It just feels normal. A little sore on the bottom of my feet, but that's about it. Also, I was saying about how everything felt slow, and like the perception of speed is different. Now, obviously, still slower than a bike, but when I'm like pushing along like this, it doesn't feel mind-numbingly slow. It just feels a good pace that I can keep up. So my speed perception is also changing a bit with each day I push this scooter. But after, so plenty of hours, and just looking forward to getting to the top and have that nice gradual descent. Just had a day at Burger King too, so now I feel
This road is a mental battle. It's not hard, it just feels long, even longer on a scooter. So I owe a little mention to James, who came out for a little ride, took my mind off the endless road and got me up the long, draggy climb so I could finally enjoy that downhill fun once more.
Done 54 miles so far today. Still just going along this long ass road, but I'm not too far away from Gretna, maybe like 20 miles, if that, maybe 15, I don't know. But I just got to give a big shout out. Just joined for a little bit by James, who brought me a macaroni pie. I haven't had one of these on this trip yet because I haven't found one. So this is the best thing ever. This is the pinnacle of Scottish cuisine. And to wash it down with, Iron Brew. So dinner is sorted tonight. We have got some macaroni pies. Oh, these are the best scootering food. Try and remember where my camp spot is. There was like a little off-road bit and then I could get to it, but I'm not 100% sure where it is. The alternative is to get to Gretna, but then I have to get to Carlisle and then somewhere between Carlisle and Penrith probably to camp. So I think it's best to get to the border tomorrow morning and be able to stock up on some supplies then at Gretna. But for now, I'm gonna have a quick macaroni pie stop. Again, thank you, James. That's a bit of a bummer. The spot that I wanted to camp at, where I camp with the BMX, it's fine for a bivvy, but I ain't gonna be able to get my tent to fit in there. It's a bit too small. So you're just gonna have to keep going. I'm at the 60-mile mark as well. So hopefully I can find somewhere pretty soon. Wherever it's gonna be, it's most likely going to be quite noisy because I'm right next to the motorway. I think I got the calculations wrong earlier because it's actually probably about 30 miles from here to the border, maybe just under. But I need to find somewhere to camp. The sun is setting any minute now. Where will Josh sleep tonight? I don't know, but I want no frights. Good morning, good morning. Oh, got a bit lucky last night and did a few miles. Started to get dark and I just managed to find a little woodlands alongside this endless long road. Had a good night's sleep as well. It's pretty good considering I am pretty close to the motorway. But today is going to mark quite a significant day, because today is the day we complete Scotland. Just about 25-ish miles down this road pretty much. And we'll be saying goodbye to Scotland, completing scootering the entire length of Scotland and into England, which then gets us towards the halfway point. I don't think we're going to quite hit that magical halfway point today, but after these 25 miles, it's essentially 75 miles from there. So on to Gretna and the border. I'll grab some food and some supplies, and then on into England we go. So an exciting day ahead. Let's go.
This was a day I had not stopped thinking about since I started. As much as you try not to get too far ahead of yourself and take it day by day, you can't help but have those goals in mind, and the Scotland-England border is a huge one. If you look at a map, Scotland is deceiving. It looks much smaller than it actually is. So getting stopped just before Ecclefechan and gifted a limited edition Iron Brew and some other goodies, I was able to power through that final 8 or so miles to the border.
England, baby! That is basically 400 miles now completed on a scooter, and officially the entire length of Scotland done. Oh, it feels good. Feels good. That feels like really good progress. Now today we go into England. I think my goal for today is to try and get, well, 60 miles will be around Penrith, so hopefully I can try and get there and a little bit further to find somewhere to camp tonight. But right now I've got a nice cruise to Carlisle, and although the wind's coming from my right, it seems to be acting like a tailwind, so I'm going to shut up. I'm just going to keep pushing on, and we are going to make some good miles today, I think. England!
Maybe it was the Iron Brew, maybe it was the excitement of finally reaching that border after just 8 days. But one thing I was seriously noticing is just how much more efficient I was becoming on the scooter. My body had adapted, each push felt good, switching legs felt natural, and with Scotland behind me, the weather looking pretty good for the next week, scootering towards the halfway point was my new goal.
just hiding from the wind a bit. It's quite chill to that wind at the moment, but just coming through the back end of Carlisle, and it's 1:30 and I've smashed nearly 40 miles already. Every day I ride this scooter, I just feel like I get a little bit more comfortable with it and a bit more efficient. Every like push feels a bit more, you know, efficient, and it gets me a little bit further. The next couple of days are going to be starting to go uphill as I head into like the Yorkshire Dales, but once I'm over that, wow, it's started to be downhill and stuff. But the exact halfway point on this route is going to be like the second highest point, so hopefully I can get there tomorrow. I've got to try and give myself the easiest day tomorrow, so I've got to try and get at least past Penrith for sure, but I've got loads of time. A little bit uphill, a little downhill to Penrith, and then we continue up. Yeah, feeling good, feeling really good on this scooter today. Sun's out, wind is no longer in my favour though.
With Penrith in my sights, the sun shining and feeling good on a scooter, I was still in high spirits from reaching the border this morning. I went a bit rogue and ended up on some very wet bridleways, which slowed me down a bit, but a few wet trails later, I was eating little pizza, sat in Penrith, in really good time.
I just got to Penrith, had some food. Done about 56 miles so far today, so I'm not planning to do many more. I want to try and get a bit of an earlier night tonight. Get into camp a little bit early if I can, and rest the legs, because tomorrow I've got to go over a few hills and it'll probably be a bit slow going tomorrow. Last couple of days have been quite technically straightforward. Tomorrow I've got a bit of off-road and up to the second highest point. Probably just gonna get out of Penrith and hopefully find little woods that I can camp in if possible. On the map it looks like there's a little woods maybe like 5 miles away, so I'm kind of hoping that's a possibility. If not, I'll just keep going uphill. Alright, fingers crossed, let's go find somewhere, and let's hope we can find somewhere soon.
Just past Penrith, I would stumble on the old Brougham Castle, founded in the early 13th century as a barrier against the Scottish invaders. Sitting right there on the banks of the River Aviemore, a strategic spot to defend against anyone coming down from the north.
Wow, another day survived on the scooter. Day 8 and another 60, I think it was 62, 63 miles, and very close to the halfway mark now. Got to the woods I want to camp at. I think I'm going to set up a tent here, and can you believe it, right? I think this is the first time on this trip where I'm going to set up my tent and the sky is actually blue. The sun came out the last couple of hours. It's just been cloudy or rainy the whole trip so far, so this is a nice end to a good day. Another tough good day on the legs, but I feel like I'm getting kind of used to it, apart from you get to around like the 50-ish mile mark and then it's like, yeah, I could probably do a stop in now. But shout out to all the people that came out and saw me today. Gives you a real energy boost, even if it's only for 10 minutes. And then the hills kick in. But good little camp spot. It's nice and early. It's not even dark yet. And as always, I see bright and early in the morning, where we should hit the halfway point, but we gotta go up for a little while first, for probably a good 20 miles. See bright and early in the morning. I am ready for sleep. Good night. Good morning. Good morning. Day 9. And today is a good day because I'm getting to the halfway point. Well, I should be getting to the halfway point. Got to do probably another like 30 odd miles, 35 miles, something like that. I am waking up with quite stiff legs today though. I didn't really sleep that great. I don't know why, I just couldn't really switch off, but today it's not cold, it's a bit cloudy. I was looking at the weather forecast last night and I don't want to jinx it, but for like the whole of next week it's just looking like cloudy, no rain, which is crazy and amazing. Hopefully once I get over all these hills I should be able to make do some good long days and big miles, maybe even go for a little record breaking, maybe the 80-mile mark, who knows. But today's going to be a tough one because I basically got to go uphill for most of it. Next sort of, I think 80 to 100 miles are pretty much all uphill. I'm going to walk up this hill a bit, stretch my legs a bit, and let's go uphill we go.
Day 9. It was probably the first day I didn't feel that great. All those miles finally catching up with me. I just felt sluggish, and there must have been something in the air today, because I could just tell today wasn't going to be quite as smooth as it had been up until this point. And then, just like that, I had my first issue. Over 400 miles in, and my first puncture. Not the greatest way to start the morning, but I was able to patch it up and get on my way once more, and into some stunning Yorkshire trails.
I did say today was going to be a slow and tough day, didn't I? But I mean, it's quite nice to be off-road, to be fair. It's been a few road slogs the last couple of days, so it's nice to be out off-road in the Yorkshire Dales, because in a couple of days we got all the built up world to go through: Manchester, Birmingham, and of course today I had the first mechanical. Can't complain too much, I guess. One puncture so far from about halfway. Not too bad, I guess. Just stuck a patch on it. I always think it's best to just fix it up while the weather's on your side, instead of waiting for another day where it's pissing down with rain. Right, let's keep hiking. Hike a scooter.
Although today I just couldn't quite shake that sluggish feeling, it was nice to be out in the countryside. There was quite a few busy built up miles on the cards for the next couple of days, so one push at a time I tried to make the most of these quiet miles. Enjoying the descents and slowly making my way up the climbs today. It was going to be a day of ups and downs, in more ways than one.
To walking again. I've done about 25 miles this morning and I think I've jinxed it because it is currently raining. Only a light drizzle, but damn it, I shouldn't have spoke. I tempted the rain gods. I forgot maybe a few miles until I get to a place called Edinburgh, and then I'm kind of hoping there's a little shop there. It's like it should be downhill too there, and then I'll be heading up again to the second highest point. Yeah, but today, because it's very stop and start, it's very hard to get into any rhythm on the scooter. So most of the scooting is just going downhill, which, I mean, the speed of these hills does make up the distance a bit, but yeah, would like to be able to actually scoot a bit more. One last little hike and then a nice descent down to this place that I don't think I've ever been to. I'm just kind of hoping there's a shop because I'm pretty much out of everything. I've got a few snacks, that's about it. Oh, it still goes up. It's too steep. And back to hiking up and scooting down. Kind of regretting not just going over Shap down to Kendal and the way I went on the BMX now. This is very stop and start and sluggish. The only reason I sort of went this way is because it is a lot quieter and quite nice views out here too. Look at this. It's quite nice. Right, let's keep going. Probably about 5 miles until we get to the top of this hill.
Arriving in the small village of Dent, a cute little village and one I'm not sure I'd ever passed through before. Some slippery cobblestones were an interesting experience on the scooter, for sure. But leaving Dent meant I was now heading to the second highest point on this adventure, and also the halfway point. But not before stumbling across this cool little waterfall. I was tempted to try and get rid of that sluggish feeling with a wild shower, but I decided I should probably just stay dry and warm. So up the steep lanes I went, with not much scootering, but plenty of walking.
And there we are, halfway. We are halfway of scootering the entire length of the UK, and I'm in a cloud. But I do get to go downhill now. There is a couple more hills today, but ultimately not too many. And I can't go too far today because I'm going to end up towards Manchester, which is tomorrow's goal. Let's go downhill. Woohoo! Here we go! Just come through Ingleton, and that's pretty much, well, the one before that was the last proper climb. There's a little bit of an up now and then a nice downhill. Today has gone so fast, although I felt so slow. Today has gone fast. It's already 4:30, 4:45, so I've only really got an hour and a half until the sun starts to set. So I'm not going to do too many more miles, maybe 10 miles if possible. Just find somewhere to camp, because tomorrow I'll be heading down in towards Manchester. I think I mean, the next couple of days are going to be going to have to be quite long, and I'm going to have to push for most of the day, because you know, it's all built up. Camping's going to be hard. So hopefully I'll be able to break the 75-mile record, but we'll see. Once I get through Manchester, on through Birmingham and down to sort of Gloucester, sort of in familiar territory. So I do want the next couple of days to try and push quite big numbers if possible, because one thing I would really love on this trip is to actually get to Land's End while it's not raining. So while the weather forecast says it's currently dry in the UK, even though it's been raining today, it would be nice to get there for once in a dry. I think I've been there like 10 times in my life and seen it dry maybe once, maybe twice. Right, up a little hill, and let's find somewhere to camp.
One sluggish day now almost behind me. I had made it over most of the steep, slow climbs, and I would get a bit of an easier finish today, with the hills starting to roll more in my favour. And after how I'd felt all day, I was just hoping for a great camp spot tonight. And you know what? It was looking promising as I rolled my way into the quiet countryside.
Just managed to find a camp spot, and what a camp spot it is. Look at the views. I'm just up in the middle of nowhere. The wind's coming from this way. I've got the wall mostly sheltering me. It's nice and calm, not raining. I mean, up here it'll probably be a bit wet in the night with condensation and stuff, but I mean, I think this has probably got to be one of the top spots so far of this trip. Today was a tough one. Today I didn't feel that great, but also it was just hilly, but I managed to still break the 50-mile mark. 52 miles I think it was. I've got like about 10-13 miles, something like that, until I have done 500 miles. Whew. So tomorrow is mostly get that done, which is kind of a little bit up and down, and then hopefully in and through Manchester if possible. I need to look at the map and make sure that's doable, but these next two parts, the next 200 miles, I really want to push and get some big distance days in if I can, because they're going to be kind of busy but kind of flattish. This essentially, where I'm camping, is probably the last challenging climb and hills until Devon and Cornwall. I probably shouldn't say that because there's probably something I've forgotten, but I think it's pretty much like flowy countryside. So as always, I see you bright and early in the morning. I'm gonna have a lovely night's sleep in here. Definitely feel tired today. See you in the morning. Look at this view. Camp spot, beautiful. View, magnificent. Good morning. And over there was a very bright, beautiful sunrise happening. But over the last 10 minutes or so, this cloud has rolled in. That was a really, really good camp spot. Definitely one of the best for the trip. Definitely a bit wet up here, but it wasn't from the rain or anything. Very peaceful, very quiet. It was a bit windy for a few hours, and then it settled down and it was just very quiet. And over there was the odd cow and sheep in some neighbouring fields. So I was looking at the map last night, and day 10 will see us, hopefully see us, get through Manchester. Now, to get through Manchester, like the other end of Manchester, it is about 60 miles, so I'm going to have to push and get that big 60 miler in again. I wouldn't mind doing a little bit further, to be honest. If I could hit that 70 mile mark a bit more often, that would be nice.
Do 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 do. Oh, it's very wet today. Oh, do do do. Careful of that rock, because it will scrape my scooter. Oh, do do do. Oh, do do. Oh, do 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 do. Oh, do do. And scootering. And scootering, pulling along. A doodaloo. Until the gate stops me this morning.
After what was an absolutely brilliant camp spot, I woke up to something special. Descending out of the clouds, the sun just starting to break through, changing the colour of the sky from grey to this incredible pink colour. Everything was peaceful, everything was quiet, just me, the scooter, and this perfect morning. And I needed it, because the next few days, busy roads, traffic, miles of tarmac through built up areas, so soaking in the moment like this, while I still had it, that felt important.
Well, that's a much better morning than yesterday. At 20 miles, it's about 10 AM. I think it took me until about midday yesterday to get 20 miles. Got a bit of a hike up here, but if I remember rightly, there's a nice bench with a nice view, and we've got some breakfast. Got the meal deal. So I'm gonna stop there for a minute and enjoy some breakfast. Much, much better day so far. But I can tell things are getting busy. Lots of people, lots of cars, and it's going to be busy for the next few days at least. Now, hopefully not tonight, probably definitely not tonight, hopefully not tomorrow, but possibly the next day. I might have to find a hotel or something, or a B&B or something, because I'm gonna need to charge camera batteries. I'm getting pretty low, but I'll probably save that until maybe closer to like Gloucester or something.
One meal deal down, and it was time to continue and start making my way towards Manchester. Being on a scooter, I tried to find the quietest way into the city. Luckily, coming in from the north, there seemed to be plenty of quiet trails from canals to what I assume are old railway lines turned into cycle routes, so I was happy enough scooting along.
What an absolutely glorious day today. The weather is playing ball nicely since after that storm. And the sun is shining today. It's not too hot, there's like not even any wind, it's just very, very nice. I want to say I've probably got like 10-ish miles until I'm into the centre of Manchester. I've done 32 miles and it's about 12:30, so on track to hit that 60 for sure. I'm sure with this part of the world it's all a bit busy and stuff, so I'm probably going to have to go into the night a bit to find somewhere to camp, I'm sure, but we'll see. Into the centre we go.
Maybe it was because of how brutal the last couple of days had been, but today I was flying. Legs felt strong, rhythm felt good. Everything was clicking. With only 10 miles to the city centre, I figured I'd cruise through the last of these quiet trails before hitting the chaos of the Manchester traffic. Turns out my maths was a little off.
Seem to have misjudged just how far the Manchester city centre is. It's not 10 miles from where I was. I've just done 10 miles. It's probably another 12 miles from now. I've done like 42 miles and it's about 1:30. Oh, I was meant to go that way. So let's keep going. We'll get there soon.
Now, I actually did have just under 10 miles to the centre, and making good miles in good time. I would make my way through the Outward Trail, another old railway line running through the trees, slightly downhill and following the River Irwell, the last bit of nature for a while before entering the city of Manchester. Once I'd hit the roads though, if anything, it just made me kick harder, and my pace was actually not far off that of bicycles. It was the weekend, so Manchester was quite busy, so it would be a flying visit to Manchester today to get in and out the other side before the light would be fading.
currently 4:30 and I've done literally just under 60 miles already. I've been flying today. Obviously I've had a bit more like downhill and stuff. I'm just coming out the back end of Manchester now. Finally got to somewhere a little bit quieter so I can sit down, have some food, and I still don't know where I'm going to camp tonight. Got a couple of hours until it gets dark. I think tonight I'm probably going to go into the night a little bit. I'm kind of hoping between somewhere from Wilmslow and Congleton, somewhere in between there. Possibly it gets a little bit quieter between there, but again, I actually don't know. But yeah, 60 miles done. Could today we break that 75 miles? I think I'm going to try, but we'll see. Depends on where I can camp.
I had nearly completed my goal of getting through and past Manchester today. Crossing the motorway once more is a good sign that it would start to get a little quieter. Leaving the city though was a bit slower and a bit more of a push. 60 miles seemed to be the point where my body would have been happy to stop. But today I would have to push on into the sunset to find somewhere to sleep.
Doesn't look like I'm going to quite break the record today. I'm going to finish up with about 72 miles. So just under, but I'm like, it's just getting dark. I feel it's a bit later today. I think it's just because it is such a light day. It's probably the lightest day of the whole trip so far, but I'm surrounded by those woodlands. So fingers crossed I can find somewhere around here. And then tomorrow we're on towards Stoke-on-Trent, but we're going to be picking up lots of canals and stuff now, and like cycle paths. That's the nice thing about getting past Manchester. But yeah, nice 72 miles. I will take that. I would have liked to have gone a bit further, but I think while it's likely there's some good camp spots around here, I might as well use them instead of going too late and then ended up in Stoke in the middle of the night. And Manchester was crazy busy because it's Saturday. But I'm going to find somewhere to camp around here. And as always, I'll see you bright and early in the morning. Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful sunset. It's kind of gone now, but still nice. Good morning. I had a great little camp spot last night, and all surrounding me is quite foggy this morning, so it was really nice to actually be in the trees because my tent's all nice and dry, whereas if I'd slept out in a field it would be soaking wet. This is crazy. I'm just like looking at the route last night and I'm looking how many miles I've done, and I'm looking how many miles I've got to go. And it's crazy to think it's less than 400 miles. It's about 390 miles. So after today, I don't know, it just feels crazy. Oh look, really foggy. So after today, I am going to be quite close to that 300 mile mark. Now, unlike on the BMX challenge, I went through Birmingham. This time I'm kind of going around the west sort of side of it, towards like Wolverhampton, Stafford. So I'm not going directly through the centre of Birmingham this time. But tomorrow I am planning to stop at Gloucester in a hotel or B&B if I can find a room so I can get everything charged. But that does mean doing at least 60 miles today, and then I'll have another 60 tomorrow. But if I can do a bit more than 60 today, that'd be good. But I should finish up on like a nice gravelly, it's like an old railway line. So I'm kind of hoping if I can finish up there today and There's a few little woodlands around there, so I might be able to camp around there. But today, apart from it being very foggy right now, that should hopefully lift as the sun starts to rise. We've got about 10 miles until Congleton, and then it's nice trails for most of the day where I get on the Biddulph Way, and then it's just like an old, I think it's an old railway line. And then I will also be going along the canal into Stoke, and just should be quite a nice day. It's quite flat. It's quite a nice part of the route in some respects because it is all flat, and as I found out, the scooter is good on flat or downhills. It's not great when it's steep climbs. So Devon Cornwall was going to be fun. But last night it felt like it was raining, but it wasn't raining. It was just like leaves falling. Right, let's out into the fog and on towards Congleton. Day 11. Oh. I'll walk to the road, stretch down the legs.
When I started this morning, it was a very still morning, a chilly morning, a damp morning from the fog. Unlike yesterday with clear skies, today was quite a dreary day, a day quite hard to wake up from and really get going. The grey, dreary day was dictating my mood this morning, and while I would make it onto the Biddulph Way, another old railway line turned cycle route, the fog had not lifted, and it didn't look like it was going to. So slowly pushing my way up the gradual climb, trying to get some energy for the rest of the day. These old railway lines always have a tipping point. They are never truly flat, so making it to that tipping point to be able to gradually descend towards Stoke was a welcome moment this morning, and now I would be able to start making use of the canal system for some easy flat miles.
That is officially 600 miles. So 350 to go. It's still all foggy. Doesn't look like it's going to change today, but my scooting power definitely is synced with the weather. If the weather's all dreary and miserable like today, I feel all sluggish and dreary and miserable. But just hit the 40-mile mark for today, so only another 20ish to do at minimum, maybe a bit more, who knows. But yeah, just a very dreary day again. Right, going along by the canal. I've already got like 10 miles to go until I get to that rough woodlands that I'm potentially going to camp in. I might not camp there, but I've got a room booked tomorrow in Gloucester. From that spot it's about 60 miles. Now I want to try and get to the hotel for as early as possible, so I've got as much time to have a little bit of recovery, have a wash, get everything charged and reset, because once I'm in Gloucester and I leave Gloucester, it's like the final push. It'll be like nearly less than 300 miles or something. So ideally the closer I can get to Gloucester today the better, but I am still sort of coming around the side of like Birmingham and that sort of busy area, so we'll see. But right now the canal path isn't that easy to ride. Probably got about 5 or 6 miles of this, and then I should be on a nice, I think it's an old railway line, where I can actually ride for the last 10 miles or so. If I decide to go further though, I'll probably have to do quite a big day, at least the 70 miles, possibly more. And yeah, this is what I'm dealing with at the moment. It's a bit sketchy. It's a bit sketchy on a scooter because I go to push and I don't really know where the edge is and I don't want to fall in. Could have been coming down there. I think we'll follow the road for a little minute.
After a little detour from my planned route to avoid the overgrown canal towpath, I would make it to the old railway line, the South Staffordshire Rail Walk, which is where I wanted to make it to today. With all the flat miles today, I'd arrived quite early, so I needed to make the decision to either wait around to camp or carry on.
Gone past that magical 60 miles for the day. I'm just feeling so drained today. I'm really feeling tired, but I really want to give myself the easiest possible, shortest day to get to the hotel tomorrow. Another 10 or 15 more miles. It's a bit of a push and it'll probably be a bit dark by the time I do that miles, but if I can get through Stour Bridge, good, because then tomorrow it's it'll be a lot shorter. And I should be able to get to Gloucester for around 2 PM, which is when I can check in. Where I am right now is where I was thinking of camping, and it is tons of spots. But I'm gonna have a little sit down on this lovely, very conveniently placed bench and have a look at the map. There's lots and lots of spots around here. I'd have to wait a couple of hours until it gets properly dark, but I mean, maybe I could just get up really early. Will I though? That's the question. Probably not. Now here, lovely woods. Stour Bridge. Get all through that. Could be something there. Good morning. As you can see, it's still very dark because last night I obviously continued, ended up doing 74 miles,
Again, didn't quite break my record, just 1 mile short. But yeah, I ended up staying in this church, which is kind of annoying because every like hour or 45 minutes or something, the bell rings. But I just slept on the bench here. I'm gonna get an early start because I've got about 50 miles to get to Gloucester, so I do want to try and get them done as quick as possible. Got like 10 miles to a place called Droitwich Spa or something. I've never heard of it, and then into Worcester, and then obviously down to Gloucester. It's generally quite a flattish day, kind of a downhill, kind of flatty day, but yeah, just gonna try and take it easy, but also try and make good progress today and get to Gloucester as early as possible. I can check in from 2 p.m, so if I could get there from then, that'd be perfect. But for now, we're gonna beat the sun this morning. I don't know where I think it's a bit foggy again, I'm not sure. Yeah, let's come to Gloucester. This bell was so annoying.
Leaving Belbroughton this morning, I understood the name, with the bells still ringing in my ears. It was another dreary, tired day, and today I was really feeling tired. The lack of sleep last night, getting woke up every hour, wasn't the greatest start to the day. I managed to scoot my way to Worcester, where I was able to grab some breakfast in hope of waking myself up. But today it wasn't just tired in the sense of wanting to sleep. Today my body was starting to feel the effects of scootering well over 600 miles in 12 days.
I think today is like the first day where I can really feel it in my legs. Like every push is a bit of a battle. I think the last 2 days where I've done back-to-back 70+ mile days, starting to catch up a bit. But by doing that has meant today I've just crossed past 300 miles to go, and by the time I get to Gloucester it'll be like 275, so it's pretty good. It's like getting to them nice smaller numbers, and I think after a good rest I'm very much likely to want to push at least one big day from Gloucester, at least into sort of towards the hills, because after that it's going to be a bit of a battle to finish. But I'm just really tired today. Every push hurts.
It was very hard to get into any rhythm this morning. My body tired and hurting with each push of the scooter meant a little bit of pain through the legs each time. I knew though that the more I pushed, the less time I spent stopped, the more time I would have to recover in a hotel tonight. So through them foggy fields I went, on towards Upton upon Severn and meeting the River Severn, them familiar sights, knowing just how close I was to Gloucester.
I've got a stone in my shoe, but I'm in like a really good rhythm, cruising at about 10 miles an hour, and I really don't want to stop. I've probably got less than 10 miles to Gloucester, so I'm just stepping on a stone right now. And as I'm getting closer to Gloucester, it does seem the mist is gonna start lifting. Yes. The last 2 days have definitely felt like a bit of a chore. However, it was definitely better coming this way than the way I went with the BMX straight through Birmingham. This is definitely a lot quieter, which was the main goal with the scooter. Avoid as many busy roads as possible. Ow! Stone is right on my heel. Gloucester. I just got to the hotel room. I managed to do about 50 miles as planned today, and got here bang on time. I managed to get here exactly at 2 p.m, which was check-in time, so I get to get everything charged, have a wash, relax a bit, because tomorrow I think is the last possible day to break the record of 75 miles. I've come close, 74 yesterday. But if I want to do it, it's gonna be tomorrow. So I'm gonna try and rest up as much as possible. I'm not gonna lie, the last 2 days where I've cracked 70 miles has definitely left my legs feeling pretty tired, pretty fatigued today. I mean, the bells from the church obviously didn't help, but yeah, so tomorrow I am going to try my best to beat that 75 miles. But from here, I have about 275 miles left. It's crazy to think, all the way from up there, all the way to here. It's madness. But it's cool. When you see it like that, it makes it all worth it. But yeah, tomorrow, I'm gonna try and push on. If I can, it's about 100 miles to Taunton from here. If I can do 80 to 90 miles tomorrow, I'll probably have to go into the dark a bit. I will be just ready to go into the hills the next day. That would be good, because from what I can tell from the weather, it's looking pretty good up until Sunday. So I've got tomorrow, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, possibly Saturday as well, to get to Land's End. But ideally, if I can get there around Friday, that would be good, because I really want to get to Land's End for once in the bloody sun. Right, I'll see you bright and early in the morning for what is hopefully going to be a record-breaking day. See you in the morning. Here we go, day 13, I think, of scootering the entire length of the UK. Just leaving Gloucester now, gonna have some nice, it's quite easy kind of miles for like 100 miles really, because it is pretty much flat, and even better, the wind is actually going in the direction I'm going. I'm currently gonna head down the Sharpness Canal. We've got to do that for pretty much most of it, and then on towards the bridge and past Bristol and all that way. I'm hoping today, if I can, I'm going to try and get as close to Taunton as possible. After Taunton, it's where all the hills and climbs start again, so that's the plan. It's a big day, but I'm feeling refreshed. Everything's charged. I'm ready for this final push, quite literally. About 270-ish miles to go. In 17 miles, it'll be 250. Right, I'm looking forward to today. now that I've showered and I smell a bit better, and yeah, had some food. Alright, it's still dark. It's not even, the sun hasn't even risen yet, but it's not looking foggy and misty and miserable today, at least as I head south. Right, day 13, let's see what it has in store for us.
Finally, today I was on familiar ground. Getting close now. There's this weird shift that happens towards the end of a journey like this. At the start, you don't dare to think about the total distance. 950 miles. That's too big, that's too overwhelming. You just think day to day, mile to mile, one push at a time. But now, you stop thinking about how far you've come and start thinking about how little is left. Not I've done 700 miles anymore. It's only 250 to go. The numbers flip in your head and suddenly the end feels possible.
I've just gone past the 700 mile mark. 700 miles in 13 days on this little scooter. Ah, it feels good. Next stop becoming along the River Severn, by the bridge and around Bristol. I'm really hoping today push my limits that little bit further and beat that 75 mile. I feel like it's got to be today. I'm feeling good. I've done like 20 miles this morning and got lots of flat land ahead of me with the Somerset levels. The wind continues in the direction that it is. It's exactly where you want the wind to be on a day that you're going through the Somerset levels. When I was going through on the BMX, it was in my face and it was torture. So should hopefully have a nice easy push through the Somerset levels, but first gotta get to the bridge and around Bristol. Looks a bit cloudy over there. Oh well, let's keep going.
This was an exciting moment for me. Those murky waters of the River Severn, the Severn Bridge stretching across, and me past 700 miles. Any pain from the previous days had vanished. Today was the day. I was going to smash that 75-mile record, no question. My mind was set, and with the wind actually on my side for once, I flew past the River Severn and around Bristol with speed I hadn't felt in days.
Over 42 miles so far today. It's 12:30, so it's pretty good progress. I've got to get over the men dips, but in good old fashion I'm taking the easy way. I'm going through the strawberry line. It's like an old railway line, so it's quite nice and flat. Just managed to find some food, so I'm going to munch on this before cracking on. I think somebody's going to come and meet me, and he'll probably ride with me for a bit. Hopefully he brings a tow rope. But this tailwind is absolutely amazing. It makes such a difference on a scooter, even more so than on a bike. Cheers.
Over 40 miles at around the halfway point of the day was a promising start if I wanted to crack that 75 miles. So I didn't stop for long and shoveled that food down and got back underway. After a few miles I was joined by Mike, who came out for a ride with me and helped me get to the Strawberry Line Cafe.
To go live, get the biggest day today. I think that's the last. Once you get to Taunton, pretty much go.
When you are trying to get the big miles in, it's a huge help when you can take your mind off of what you are doing and have a chat and try not to slow Mike down too much. I think I was keeping good pace. So after saying goodbye, it was time to head onto the Strawberry Line itself, the easiest way to cross the Mendips and into the Somerset levels.
Well, I've left the Mendip hills behind, and now I'm in the flatlands of the Somerset levels. I've nearly done 70 miles so far. It's about 4:45, so I might even hit that 75 mark in daylight. Who knows? I think from here it's about another 20 to Taunton, so I'm hoping I can get pretty close to there. I do come into Taunton along a canal, so it might be possible to find a little camp spot as I'm arriving there. If not, I've got to go through Taunton, up a few hills at least. Maybe another 10 miles from there I do know a camp spot because I camped there on the BMX, but definitely hitting more than 75 today. And you know what? I don't feel half bad. I don't know if it's just because I had a good night's sleep or what, I don't know. Probably having a tailwind helps a lot, but it's not a crazy tailwind, but it's enough to just make it a really pleasant ride today. Alright, let's continue along these lovely flat miles, which obviously has the benefit of no hills. However, you do have to keep pushing and pushing.
Pushing is what I had done now for getting onto that 800-mile mark, and right now I was feeling great. I felt like I could have kept pushing through the night, but seeing that GPS tick past that 75-mile mark was an amazing feeling. I had come close a few times, so it just felt like a matter of time. To finally do it though was amazing. Now the question was just how far I would end up going tonight.
So I've currently done about 85 miles, so I've beaten the record by 10 miles. I really want to continue. Obviously it's getting dark now, which is fine, but and it's probably maybe like 8-9 miles until Taunton. Problem is, like, I'm along the canal right now, and there's such a good camp spot. Like, it's like the other side of the lock. I mean, it's nice and kind of out of the way. Nobody's going to be coming through here through the night, I'd imagine. And I mean, it is a really good spot. Now, I really want to do more than 85 miles though, because I really feel like I could definitely get the 90, possibly even the 100. But the problem is I will have to go through Taunton and get out the other side up a bunch of hills. So I don't know if to camp now or push on through the night. Will I regret not pushing on through the night now in like a day or two time when it's getting close to the end? But there is a really good camp spot. Maybe what I could do is force myself to get up really early tomorrow, get into Taunton even earlier than normal, and then I can make, maybe that's a good idea. Okay, well, a new record, 85 miles. Could have been 90, could have been 100, but I'll take the decent camp spot now, I think. All right, as always though, I see bright and early in the morning. I'm gonna try and get up before the sun rises, maybe like 6, 5:30, so I can get a good head start into Taunton, get some breakfast there, and then up into the hills tomorrow. All right, see you bright and early in the morning.
Good morning, good morning. It's currently 6 AM. That's early enough, right? There's a really good camp spot actually. Got a few miles, I think maybe like 6-7 miles until I get to Taunton. So I'm gonna just cruise along the canal, get there nice and early, hopefully find a shop that's open, get some breakfast, and then you got the hills to come. But I was looking at the map yesterday, and there's less than 200 miles to go. I was thinking there's still more than 200, but it's about 181 miles from where I am. So feels like it's very close now. So today's goal is just to try and knock as much as that 81 miles off with the target. All right, let's get up. I'm so sleepy. Don't want to wake up yet. It's not even light.
Well, just made it through Taunton, stopped to have some breakfast, and it was like the worst time to go through there because all the kids were going to school, going crazy on their bicycles. But I am now past Taunton, and that means it's time for up, down, up, down, up, down, lots of hills. The 800 mile mark today is a significant one because it leaves just 150 to go, and that is in about 20 miles as I get to a place called Bampton. So first little push will be to try and get that first 20 miles gone, and that'll be the 30 mile mark today. But I think if I can manage to do 60 today, I'll be pretty happy. Any more, even better. I was looking at the weather, and from Sunday onwards the weather's terrible. Today is Wednesday, I think, yeah, Wednesday. So I'm hoping I can either get there Friday or early Saturday morning. I kind of want to get there Friday, but it will depend on how today and tomorrow goes, because because I do want to get there in the daylight, not at night. So I mean, if I do 60 today, 60 next day, it's another 60, but we'll see. Hopefully I can have a shorter day for the last day.
You can always tell when you are leaving Somerset and getting towards Devon. The roads start to get narrower. The lanes become all you have to focus on, apart from the hills, of course. You know Devon is upon you when every road is called hill. And them hills are often pushing on to 20% gradients. And for the scooter, that means plenty of walking, and the miles feel like they take forever.
Whew. All of a sudden it's just got really cold. Just coming through Bampton, just had some food, and we continue going up. I think in about, I don't know, 5 to 10 miles I do have a bit more of a flowy downhill section for a few miles at least, so we've got something to look forward to. But today, this morning, has been one long grind, maybe 1.5 miles. I have done 800 miles and I will be loading up the penultimate section of the route. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I hope I can do another 30 miles today. To be honest, if I could do 70 today, 70 tomorrow, that would be much nicer. That would be much nicer. But we'll see. Let's keep going up.
All the miles I had covered before now was just training for today. Today was relentless. Pushing up these hills was burning the legs. So when I was very kindly stopped, just as I was practically dying, pushing up these steep hills by Judith, who very kindly restocked my pasty supply, I was able to have a little breather before getting back onto them very narrow lanes. I'd made my life harder being on a scooter. I had to take the very back roads, and with these roads, there is not much in between, up or down.
My body's starting to have enough. It's my right ankle on the back is quite sore, a bit tender, I think, because right now everything's steep, so just trying to like push up as much as possible, but it's really working that part. I think I nearly at the top of this hill, there's like a little bit of respite coming up.
The top of these hills couldn't have come at a better time. This section here was probably the most respite I got the whole day, and a very welcome one from the non-stop steep lanes. I had seemed to come out of them narrow steep lanes, even just for a brief moment, which gave me the opportunity not only to rest the heavy legs for just a moment, but to see that rolling steep countryside. I had made it over today, even if it was short-lived.
Today is definitely a hard one. Absolutely. Very sluggish and slow going. I've definitely made this route this time a lot harder than when I did it on the BMX. I could have just gone down to like Tiverton and then Oakhampton, but the way I'm going, I'm sort of like crossing across Devon, and I'm not like following any ridge line of the hills. I'm just going up, down, so it's very slow. I have done 55 miles. I need to do 5 more miles. I've done 55 to get that minimum of 60 miles, but I really want to hit that 70, because if I can hit 70 today, 70 tomorrow, and then the final day I'll only have 40 which feels a lot nicer. But I'm probably gonna have to go into the night a bit at this pace to get that 70. I'll see where I'm at when I'm at 60, but God, what a day. What a day.
It seemed like I had spent most of the day walking, so I have no idea how I had managed to even get close to that 60-mile mark today. This was no doubt in my mind the hardest day on the scooter by far, but getting today over and done with meant I was another day closer to Land's End. That's what I kept telling myself as I pushed my way into the evening and onto the Tarka Trail.
Wow, it's starting to get dark. I've done 65 miles so far. Oh, everything's hurting today. Ankles are hurting, knees are hurting. I've got 65 more miles of this section of the route to do, and then onto the final bit, which is about 50. I want to do this 5 more miles now, because I know it's if I don't do it now, then tomorrow I've got to do even more. However, I am kind of in a fairly wooded area where I could probably quite easily find somewhere to camp. I don't know, I'm so tired today. See a really good camp spot, I'll just take it, I think. Hopefully a bit of recovery, a good night's sleep, and crack on again tomorrow. Today has definitely been probably the hardest day of them all so far. And what's worse, tomorrow doesn't get any easier.
Morning. Yesterday turned into a bit of a faff because, well, I started getting a flat tyre just as it was getting dark and I was trying to find somewhere to camp. So I got to this place called Sheep Wash. I was sat in like a church doorway, just trying to like fix the tyre, fix the puncture. Couldn't patch it; it just would not patch. So I stuck a new inner tube in, fine, done that. And then I come to the realisation that I left my tent poles at my last camp spot along the canal. So unless I can find a perfectly sized stick, I can't actually pitch my tent right now. So I just slept in the doorway of that church at Sheep Wash. But good news, I did do nearly 70 miles yesterday, about 69. I do only have about 110 to do, so today's goal is just to get as close as possible to Land's End to give myself the easiest day tomorrow. Still, ideally I need to do another 70, but we'll see, because it's hilly, it's hard, and it's tough. But also, I now need to be creative about where I'm going to sleep. There isn't really many woodlands, so I'm unlikely to find a perfectly sized stick. So I might have to try and find like a church or something again, or just, I don't know, who knows, right? It's day 15, a week and a day on the road on the scooter. I'm going to get a bit of an early start at 6 a.m. And just going to try and get a few miles before it gets a bit busier and stuff. I'm coming up to a place that I can't remember the name of. I'll put it on screen in about 10 miles, and I'll probably stop for breakfast or something there, maybe, who knows, I don't know. Got some big climbs, got to go over like Bodmin today. Right, let's go.
So close now, just over 100 miles to go. Today was a crucial day. I needed today to go well if I was ever going to reach Land's End tomorrow. I had planned to stop in Holsworthy for some breakfast, but arrived too early and the shops were still closed. And I was on a mission today, so I was not going to be waiting around. But leaving Holsworthy, I did get to enjoy the impressive viaduct.
Skipping breakfast today. I'm on a mission. This should hopefully be the penultimate day, so I just want to get through these miles and push. And it's a bit annoying at the moment because all like the hedges have just been like trimmed, so there's just like thorns everywhere on all the little sort of back roads and country lanes. Just had one stuck in my shoe, so if I don't get a puncture in a minute, I'll be surprised. But if I can do the next sort of 5-10 miles, I'll start heading actually south. Right now I'm sort of just going across Devon, but I'm nearly there, and I've got about 50 miles of this section of the route to go. And then just one more after that, which is only about 50 miles, so try and get that other one started today if I can.
I somehow managed to avoid another puncture for now, and would finally see the sea in the distance, which meant I would now be able to start heading south and towards Cornwall. After yesterday's really tough day, I was happy that I had somehow managed to recover through the night, and my legs were feeling strong again. I just needed to keep pushing on, because I would still need to climb up to Bodmin Moor. That was going to be the challenge today.
Now the real climbing starts for today. Once I'm up, 1, 2, 3 climbs with tiny little descents in between them. Once I'm up on that third one, I'll be a bit happy because from there it'll be a bit of a downhill direction all the way to Bodmin, which will help pick up the pace a little bit for sure. But can you believe it? Look, the sun's come out. Oh my god, amazing. Can you come out again tomorrow, please? But right now, we're back to hiker scooter. Up, up, up we go.
Hiker scooter, jogger scooter, I don't know anymore. I was just in the mood to just keep going forward, whatever it took. Land's End felt incredibly close. After 15 days on the road, I was just excited to reach the end. So when I managed to push my way up the last climb on the moors, it was such a treat. It meant I had some flat miles and then a long descent towards Bodmin. And what's better, the wind was still in my favour.
Ah yes, feels so good to be at this point, because now at least I know for a good like 10-15 miles I'm essentially going downhill. There's always a few bumps in the road of course, but it's pretty much downhill now towards Bodmin, and I'm just going to keep smashing through these miles. I want to get way past Bodmin really. I want the easiest day tomorrow possible. I want the shortest day of this whole trip if I can. But for now, look at it. It's absolutely beautiful up here as well on the moors. Normally, it's like, not like this. It's normally raining on me. Ah, so good. Oh yeah.
From the moment I entered Devon yesterday, I was waiting for this moment to be in Cornwall, to be on top of the moors and start to enjoy some easy miles with nothing to stop me, apart from some sheep and apart from some cows. But as long as the camel trail has no camels, this was sure to be my penultimate day. Just under the 50-mile mark, so making good progress. It's only 1:30, so today has been much better. Yesterday was just so brutal. Everything was like a hiker bike, and today, although there's been some long hiker bikes, it's been a bit more flowy, a bit more gradual. So I have actually been able to push up most of the climbs and enjoy them descents. I wish I didn't have to come off the camel trail, because unfortunately it doesn't go all the way to Land's End. If it did, it would be amazing, because it would be like a flat ride all the way to Land's End. But unfortunately I do, and that means heading back into the steep old hills. 13 more miles of this section of the route, and then I can finally start the final leg, which is like 50 miles. So I would love to start that today, even if I just got like 5 miles, 8 miles, something like that. Just get it started and get it underway to make it a little bit easier tomorrow. But for now, have a few pork pies and head back into the hills. Just keep pushing on tonight. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm not stopping much. I was well and truly into Cornwall now, and I was in very good spirits. I knew the hardest challenges were now behind me. It was looking like I would make it to Land's End before the weather could turn. There was still plenty of hills, of course. This is Cornwall after all. After one final supper, I would be selecting the last section of this route on my GPS, a moment I had been waiting for now for 15 days. And to make a really great day even better, for the remainder of the evening I would be joined by Lee, who came out to keep me company, which took my mind off the hills once more, and we had a blast cruising into the evening, smashing out their miles.
Just having a job to keep up with you because I'm not in the wrong gear.
By the time I stopped tonight, I couldn't believe just how much progress I had made today.
Morning, a good morning. And today is day 16 of scootering across the entire length of the UK, and what is going to be the last day as well. With the help of Lee yesterday, I managed to smash 82 miles, I think it was in total, which is leaving me with less than 30 miles to do. It's currently 7 AM. It's not quite light yet, but it's going to be getting lights pretty soon. Probably got like less than 10 miles to Hale. And then it's pretty much straightforward to Penzance and then across to Land's End. Like, the hard stuff is now behind us, I would say. I mean, getting up to the Land's End is a bit of a slog, but apart from that, it is pretty much, yeah, it's good. So, scooter, don't have any more punctures, don't break in half, don't spontaneously combust, just do your thing and scoot, okay? We don't need to get to Penzance and blow up. Now the motivational talk is done. Let's go to Land's End. Day 16.
The day I had been long awaiting was finally here. The end of this epic adventure was nearing. The sun was starting to rise, and as I made it to the little town of Hale, this morning was almost perfect. So to make it perfect, I grabbed my Cornish pasty for breakfast, enjoyed the last moments before it was time to get this done. Land's End was so incredibly close now.
To think, 16 days ago, I set off on John O'Groats, 950 miles, and in 15 miles, I'm going to have crossed the country on a scooter. And what makes this even better is that I did not think it would be this driver trip. Minus the first few days through the storm. Oh my god, I'm going to be finishing for once in a beautiful blue sky and sunshine by the looks of it. I can't wait. 15 miles. It's all that stands in my way. Scooter power, let's go!
After so many miles, to see that magical castle in the distance appear, St. Michael's Mount, my heart lifted, because when you see this coastline, you know you've all but made it. Just a few more miles along the coast and I would arrive in Penzance, the last town in England. One more final push, one more final challenge, the last of those brutal Cornish climbs. But when you start to see that sea stretching out in the distance, everything changes. Land's End is in your sights. No further can you go. The end is here. 16 days, 954 miles, and there I was, just as I had done for the entire trip, pushing myself over that finish line, for once arriving in glorious sunshine. I could finally stop, sit back, take it all in, reflect on every single mile I'd overcome. 16 days ago, I'd ridden this scooter twice, for a mere 10 miles in total, and now I'd push myself across the entire length of the UK, through the Flow Country's endless gravel, through Storm Amy, through the Cairngorms, past Edinburgh, Manchester, through the Midlands, through some of the most incredible places this country has to offer, through rain, wind, fog, and finally, sunshine. 85 miles in just one day. I'd met so many amazing people along the way. I guess there's only one more thing I could do to make this adventure that little more epic in the future.
And there it is. 16 days, or 15 and a half really, scooter, 950 miles across the entire length of the UK. This has been an absolute blast of an adventure. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, a lot worse with the weather, but this little green machine, the yellow Trex, has been a lot of fun to ride. Scooter!